Well, now, good to see you once again. This is Good Joseph. And guess what? On this video, I'm going to talking about how to make money or your money work for you. Yes, that sounds interesting, isn't it? Yes. And by the way, guess what? There are some advantages when the money works for you rather than you working for money. First of all, let's agree right now that me and you cannot make money. Governments are the one that makes money. Me and you, we attract money. Are we together? Now, when you work for money, you are engaging into that engagement actively. But when the money works for you, guess what? You're not involved. Money does something for you, then it brings forth other money. And we're going to learn about this. By the way, we're only 2 months shy away from actually getting over this year 2024. I'm making this video at around October, towards the end of the October of 2024. So we only have 2 months. How can we make our money work for us before we hit the year 2025? So stay with me to the end. And by the way, this is Good Joseph in case you're watching me for the first time. And guess what? I upload this kind of videos each and every day. So if you don't want to miss any good videos of such, go ahead and hit that subscription button, like the video, and comment in the comment section. Tell me where you're watching from, and tell me that thing you would like me to address. Let's get on the business now. How do you make money work for you? How to make money work for you? All right, that's the question. Okay, first of all, you have to identify these are two entities here. This is you, all right, and this is money. Okay, now one thing that you're supposed to understand, these two things works differently. See, when you work, me and you, when we work for money, we are trading three things. And I've been telling you this, and allow me to repeat it again for the millionth time. One, you trade your energy. Okay, are we together? Two, you trade your skills. Are we together? You trade your skills. And three, you trade your time. This is why you get what? Employed. You are employed. See, when you are employed, guess what? You are trading these three things. You are employed from 9 to 5, from early morning, 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., whatever you call it, up to 5 p.m. Now you're trading your time. Skills, you are a doctor, you are a teacher, you are an engineer, you are whatever you do. That thing that you are trading is what we call the skills. And the energy, of course, you're going to require energy in terms of the calories or whatever. That's what you call the mental pressure and what have you, for you to earn that money. And this is why we say this is active income. Why active? It's active because you are involved. If you are not there, that money would have not come in. That's why I always tell you guys, you are the biggest asset. So you're supposed to take care of yourself. When I say take care of yourself, I don't mean you eating junk and buying expensive clothes. That's not taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is making sure that you set aside some cash, which you call it you paying yourself. You pay yourself. When I say you pay yourself, when you get paid at the end of the month, you have not yet paid yourself. When you pay yourself is when you save a particular amount of money. When you pay the rent, you're paying the landlord. When you pay the electricity, you're paying the power guy. When you pay the water, you are paying the water guy. When you go to that particular expensive dinner, saying you're treating yourself, you're not paying yourself. You're paying the owner of the hotel. But when you set aside a certain amount of money into an investment for the sake of you, you're paying yourself. You know why? Investing is buying a day that you don't have to work in future. Are we together? Good. That is active income. Now, today we are talking about money working for you. When money works for you, guess what? It gives back all these things back to you. Gives back all these things. It gives back your energy. Gives back your energy, meaning that energy you can redirect it somewhere else. Gives back your skills. You really don't have to have skills. For example, if you buy shares or invest in, say, in a bills or a bond or in a balance fund or equity fund, or does not require your skills. For example, I'm investing in those areas. By the way, I'm making this video in the morning. See, I have not made any call. I have not contacted nobody, and the money is just working somewhere. Are we together? So skills are not needed here. And this time, it gives back your time. When I say time, you can use that particular time when you're working to make sure that you do what? You do other things. And guess what? Again, this time, yes, you are actually winning in two ways. One, this time has been given back to you so you can get back your time, so you can do something else in extra. And the same time you're using it actually is earning you more money when the money works for you. Now, how exactly do you make money work for you? How do you do that? First of all, you need to have some money for it to work for you. So the very primary thing you need to have is to have the money. Then how do you have the money to make it work for you? Are we together? How do you do that? See, you cannot have it if you or when you're budgeting your cash, or when you're doing your budgeting, you're using all of it. So you cannot have it in the first place. So what do you do? What you do is that you pay yourself first. So when you pay yourself, meaning you set aside a certain fraction of your cash, then that surplus is what you invest. The only language that money understands is the budget. I said I told you sometimes back, money is very spiritual. Are we together? And anything spiritual has two characteristics. Number one, there is a sacred language that they understand. Two, there is a sacrifice involved. Those two things. For those who are believer, are we together? For those who are believer, of course, you know, you have to do sacrifice, and of course you have to do what we call, you know, that sacred language. Are we together? Now, when you say the money you want the money to work for you, first of all, you get the money first. Second, now you ask yourself, what exactly can I put my money for it to work for me? And when you start a business, I won't really say it's the money working for you, because when you start a business, you'll be required to make calls and follow-ups and what have you. So you are actively engaged with that money, you're following it up. But when you invest your money, okay, when you invest your money where you're not engaged, you're not involved, that's when you actually making the money work for you. And this is why I always come here, I tell you, no matter how small it is, even if it's 100, 200, 1,000, a million, 10, a billion, whatever the amount of money that you have, you can use it. Instead of having it idle, throw it in somewhere where it is an investment, where it's bringing forth some babies. Remember one thing and never forget this: money love to make babies. For instance, there are a variety of the structures that you can use to make the money work for you. I don't want to go over, you know, all that list, because you already know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about B's, bonds, MMF, shares, stocks, rates, index fund. I'm going to talk about equity fund, balance fund, fixed investment funds, and many other things that you can be able to do that money can actually work for you. So what you do, if you would like the money to work for you, of course you pick that what you can afford to get. For instance, let's say you have person A and B. Let's say you have person A and B. Somebody, all of these guys want to have the money work for them. And this A can have the capacity to maybe invest in something like treasury bills. Bills in Kenya, you need to have a minimum of 100K. Are we together? And let's say this guy maybe doesn't have like this amount of money. Maybe you have like each and every month you can spare like 5,000. Okay, 5,000 with you, you can be able to get in something like shares. You can get something into, you know, MMF. You can get in something like bond fund. You can get something into balance fund. You get what I'm saying? So as much as you want the money to work for you, be realistic. I'm not saying you should not dream, but be realistic. You don't have the capacity to raise this 100,000 for you, that money to work for you. So therefore, go with that what you can afford, which is 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, 100 shilling, whatever you can actually manage to do that. But please make sure that the money works for you. See, when you invest in that particular time, the money just flows in. Of course, there's a little bit of shortcoming when the money works for you. You need a huge chunk of it too. You need to give it a little bit of time for you to realize quite of a substantive amount of money or returns out of it. But it's so good. Why? Because these two entities, you and the money, you work differently. See, when you work actively, a time will come when you don't have the energy to actually do what? You don't have the energy to, you know, sort of work each and every time until, say, you are old age. A time will come when the energy will not be there, skills will be there, but you don't have the energy. And the time you don't have it, see, you are old, you don't have the time, and you don't have the energy, you only have the skills. And when you have the skills, you don't have the energy, and you don't have the time, then this is when they tell you you are retired, you cannot work. So, but when you are elevating the passive income from this particular end, you are bringing forth huge chunk of cash for the purposes of investing. Then with that regard, then you are creating a system or a structure that in future will give you the money, regardless of you having the energy or having the time, and you still have the skills. And I always tell people, one thing that you're supposed to understand, yes, I know you are young, you're energetic, you're getting the cash and what have you. Build your life, especially when you're from 21 years all the way to 45 years. That is when you're supposed to do the donkey work. Sacrifice as much as you can. Well, of course, at least a bit of enjoyment here and there, because you're a human being, okay? So what you do, channel that cash towards that particular age. And this is what I want you to do for the next 60 days that are coming. Of course, depends on when you're watching this video, okay? You can always pick this video randomly and apply it. That you don't have to wait for another October for you to apply this formula. Just apply it immediately when you get this video. For the next 60 days that are coming, this is what I would advise you to do, okay? This is my proposal anyway. Again, I said I do not have a life manual. You know, what I do is that I've gathered some information here and there, of course, through the experiences, and others through learning from other different people. This is what I want you to do. maybe perhaps you had some dreams and you had some, what do we call them, the resolution at the beginning of this year. Probably you have not achieved anything and you feel like you're a failure and something of sort. You know what? Yeah, probably you're a failure because you didn't do some other things, some of the things that you could have controlled but you didn't. But if some of the things that happened that you didn't have a control of, then of course you cannot be termed as a failure. But let no one call you as a failure, even me, including me, called Joseph. Okay, so what you're supposed to do for the next 60 days that are coming, kindly do this. Okay, make sure that at least you learn the habit and the character of saving, no matter how small it is. And let me tell you one secret: 60 days are enough to actually earn you a character, a habit, a behavior that will actually propagate you. By the time now we are saying, hey, we are ushering a new year, that is exactly what you're supposed to do. Do something, work towards it, put aside that amount of money, be consistency, have what we call the sacrifice, get yourself the discipline and push along. And I'm telling you, this is not a motivation, but this is the truth. You're going to be able to do something by the time now you're beginning the next year. So, and that is exactly how you make money work for you. How to make money work for you, if you may recap what I've exactly said: get the money first. Okay, and how do you get the money first? Put your house in order. When I say put your house in order, I mean like have the budget for your cash. And of course, I always talk about realistic budgets. So when you set aside the amount of money that you know you can afford to be getting each and every month, then raise that money to a particular level so that you would love to get. Are we together? Then after that, then go to the extra mile of identifying that specific thing that can actually work for you, not only giving you that interest that you would like to get, but also it is acquiring that amount of money that you can afford to have each and every month. Then you'll be throwing that cash towards that particular point. And let me tell you one secret: you cannot manage to have the money work for you if you are indisciplined, if you're hanging around with people who are not doing this. And I love to ask this question: have you ever seen boxers, those who do the boxers or the UFC or whatever the thing you call it, training with marathoners? You cannot do that. You cannot see the sprinters training with marathoners. You only see marathoners training with marathoners, sprinters training with sprinters. People who are doing football, they train with people who are doing football. So now the problem is you're hanging around with people who are eating almost everything or everything. They're even borrowing to finance their lifestyle. And there you are, you want to achieve the financial freedom. You cannot do that. Birds of a feather flock together. That's why they always say, show me your friends, I'll define you who you are. So make sure that at least you be cautious and careful whom you hang around with, whom you call your friends, whom you spend a lot of time with, because where you dwell most, you tend to think in that direction. That is it. And that's why people tend to ask, why haven't I achieved my resolutions this year? Because you said you're gonna, beat the gym, you're gonna be there, work for your body, work for your weight, what you call the weight loss and what have you, but you're doing nothing. You're hanging around with the people who are, let me not go there. So the point is good, make sure that at least you go ahead and show up each and every day and you're gonna win that particular thing that you want. Well, I know at the tail end of this submission sounds like a motivation. Well, of course it is, but I hope and I thought that it could be of help to you. So anyway, this is Good Joseph speaking, and as always, never ever forget, my number is always on the description of this specific video. You can grab it, you can give me a call, and we can talk business as always. And never forget, I do have booklets about investments. I have booklets about bills, bonds, money market funds, rates. I have books about things to do with business plans and what have you, circles. So if you'd like to get any copy out of that list of mine, get that number or get that email, shoot me an email, then we can talk business from there. Just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other. And don't forget to leave me a comment on the comment section, something you would like me to clarify that I talked about. For now, it's a goodbye and see you the next one.